All right, so let's stand for the pledge.
Push the button.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Dan Pillow.
Here.
Lisa Stafford. Here. Dan Dalton.
Here.
Ann Pillow.
Here.
Steve Dalton.
Here.
Pam Jackson.
Here. I'll go to the clerk's report.
You have these minutes from the special council meeting of March 22nd.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for March 22nd.
I'll second it.
Motion by Pam, second by Steve. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yes.
Lisa Stafford. Yay. Ann Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Then you have the ones from the regular meeting on March 2nd.
Make a motion to accept the minutes for March 2nd.
Second.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Dan Dalton. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford. Yay. Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
You have pay ordinance 3/2020, and this is for biweekly payroll, which was paid on March the 11th. Total amounts dispersed from the general fund was $9,175.62.
I'll make a motion to accept 3E 2020.
I'll second. Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Ann Pillow. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford. Yay. Ann Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Then you have pay ordinance 3F. This is for monthly salaries, which was paid on March the 15th.
I'll make a motion to accept 3F.
I'll second. Motion by Lisa Stafford, second by Ann Pillow. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow. Lisa
Yay.
Stafford.
Yay.
Ann Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Then you have 3G 2015. This is for accounts payable.
Make a motion, we accept ordinance 3G for accounts payable.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Dan Dalton. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford.
Yay.
Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay, sorry.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
And you should have received online the copies of the Addyston Board of Public Affairs March meeting documents. It was the February 10th, 2020 minutes, the January 2020 water and collection report fees collected during the month of February, and their pay ordinance.
I'll make a motion to accept the pay ordinance and minutes from the water board.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
What?
For the Addyston Board of Public Affairs
Sorry.
minutes, pay ordinance.
Second.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Dan Dalton. Is there any discussion?
I must have missed those minutes.
Yeah, I'm not seeing this.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't see that one either.
I thought it was attached, but if not, I'll send it to you this week.
Anything else?
Well, I gotta do roll call.
Yeah, I know.
Or should we motion to table it, because can we approve something we haven't seen?
Yeah. I have some issues
I
as far as
second
looking
that
forward.
motion.
So what are we doing? We
You
want
want
to,
to, okay, so
Just
are
table it.
you gonna
Rescind it.
rescind your motion? So we have a motion by Steve to table it?
Well, if she rescinds it, we don't need to vote on it, right?
unless it needs to be paid, Margaret, if you want to go get it.
Nah, I'll bring it.
Okay.
So we'll just leave it at that.
Okay, let me see what else we got. And tonight when you come in, I believe you should have had in front of you, the Addyston Mayor's Court. Yeah, Addyston Mayor's monthly report, the monthly Mayor's Court report. It should have been at your station, at your seat when you came in. Did everybody find it?
Yes.
Okay. Total amount to the Village of Addyston is $5,112. To the State Revenue Fund for Indigent Defense Support Fund, Victims of Crime and Drug Law Enforcement, a total of $970.50. Other revenue, court costs for Indigent Driver Alcohol Treatment Fund, $34.50, for a total revenue of $6,117.
I'll make a motion to accept the mayor's monthly court report.
I'll second.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Steve Dalton. Any discussion? Or
That's a Dalton, just say yes.
that's what I thought I heard anyway.
Are we ready?
No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yeah.
And that's all I have now.
I don't have anything I want to bring at this moment. A few things that they have to talk about. We'll go to Bob. Bob?
Okay. I have an ordinance adopting amended Article 1, 3, and 5 rules and regulations for the Hamilton County Stormwater District.
This was sent out to everybody by email. It was included in my packet information, and it is time pressing because it should have been done back in January. But between the switch of the the former mayor and the new mayor, somewhere along the line it got dropped, and they reached out to us again saying that, you know, it's time sensitive. It should have been back to them.
And what is this doing?
This is for the stormwater. It's part of the Hamilton County plan, and it also allows them to collect money on the property duplicates for stormwater. We haven't received any stormwater money for probably 5 or 6 years from Hamilton County. I just don't want us to miss out if there's any money.
This is, normally they send us a form which has options. I don't know, obviously haven't had time to read this. The
Well,
form comes with the options that we decide which level of service we're going to get from them. And I don't know if this says we'll continue our same level or whether we're just kind of signing off and saying this is what we're going to do.
I really think that everything that was included in it, this is actually, they are doing something to modify the way they operate storm management.
Mhm.
And you are right, we usually get something from them, and we haven't received something from the
Right.
county for quite a few years. But if there is the possibility that this has anything to do with us receiving any type of assistance, I'd hate to see us not do it.
Yeah, we normally, every few years, you might remember that we're required to sign off on the level of service that we want. It goes through the taxes, you said, Margaret, if they take it out of the,
But like I said, we haven't got anything on the taxes for probably 5 years.
yeah, we voted to maintain the same, when we did do that.
And they do the collecting, the county does the collecting, the treasurer does the collecting, and then they will send us the
Yeah.
revenue when we get it. I mean, Lisa, she went up there and she printed everything off. There was like about 60 pages
Wow.
to do with this whole thing.
It's all right here if you want to read it.
And that was included in the email that went out to everybody.
Yeah.
Mear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't copy this.
So I'm still kind of got the new guy thing. I know we've done, it's an emergency, so we push it through.
Is that it? Is
And
that
what would be the
form?
process if we didn't declare it an emergency? How
You
does that
just
work?
make a motion for the first reading.
And you'd have to have another day to do another reading and another day.
And then
to do
like at
another
the second
reading.
meeting, if you wanted to do second, third reading, you could, or second, you could make a motion at the next meeting to do a second and third.
Could we still?
So that'd be two
so, like,
times instead of going 3 meetings,
Mhm.
however.
Could we read it tonight and then give everybody a chance to really look at it so we understand it and then
That is up to
discuss
council,
it?
yeah.
Like, is that an option?
Yeah.
When does this have to be entered?
What's time sensitive, I mean, I sent it out, like I
Yeah.
said.
I didn't know
They
there was
sent it
a deadline.
once and there was no reply, they sent it to me, and that's when I sent it on to Bob, and I said, please bring the ordinance, because if you do anything with money and it's time sensitive, I don't want to see us be left out from it. And it looks like what they're doing is restructuring the program countywide. That makes no difference to me.
Bob, do you have a take on this?
The only take I have on it is that it looks like the Hamilton County is going to take over the enforcement of these provisions under these amended articles. And it provides in there for the village to have an appeals board to review items, but essentially the enforcement of those regulations will be by Hamilton County and not the village.
Well, under section 3, it says the village of Addyston and its officials are hereby authorized and directed to act as enforcing official for Article 3. I'm sorry. I didn't double check Article 3.
Here's Article 2.
Where is Article 3? It's not part of this?
This.
But you certainly can have the first reading and then read the second and third at the first meeting in April.
I don't mind this going in emergency ordinance unless everybody wants to go back and read through this and see if they,
Well, I don't think that they would send us something and it not have a meaning. Apparently, from what I've read, they're trying to restructure and it more of a program than what it's been in the past. But I'm not a lawyer and I don't work for them. I just was trying to make sure that if there's any revenue involved, we don't lose out on anything.
I guess I should have taken the time to read it, but there's a lot of things going on.
And as I said, I did include all the documents.
And it didn't ask for any money?
Please, no, they're not asking for any money. I'm just saying that if it has to do with the stormwater, because it's a part of this, I just don't want us not to have,
Oh, I agree.
something down here, and then they come along and then they say, well, Addiston's not participating in it.
If you look under the second last whereas on page 1, okay? We previously adopted through resolution and/or ordinance and are implementing the Hamilton County rules and regulations to protect the health, safety, and welfare of its citizens by preventing non-stormwater discharges and controlling stormwater. Now, if you go to the next one, that these rules and regulations may be duly amended or modified by the Board of County Commissioners from time to time, and council will adopt said amendments or modifications as to these rules and regulations.
I make a motion to suspend the rules that ordinance be read 3 times by title only and be declared an emergency.
I'll second.
Motion by Dan, that was just an extra copy on the side, so I don't get confused. Motion by Dan Pillow, who seconded that, I'm sorry, Pam Jackson, is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yeah.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Do you have it, Bob?
Yes. First reading an ordinance adopting amended Article 1, 3, and 5 rules and regulations for the Hamilton County Stormwater District. Second reading an ordinance adopting amended Article 1, 3, and 5 rules and regulations for the Hamilton County Stormwater District. Third reading an ordinance adopting amended Article 1, 3, and 5 rules and regulations for the Hamilton County Stormwater District.
I'll make a motion to adopt as read.
I'll second it.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Lisa Stafford. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford.
Yay.
Dan Dalton.
And
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yeah.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
This will be number 3.
The other ordinance I have is a resolution authorizing the adoption of an alternative method of apportioning the local government fund.
Can somebody explain that one to me too? I appreciate getting it out to me, but I just hadn't had the time to read it all.
Bob, what's this one?
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're attempting to change the way the monies are adjusted or distributed between Hamilton County, the city of Cincinnati, and then the remaining municipalities, township, villages within Hamilton County, how they're going to set aside monies by this source of revenue. And they believe it's going to be a more equitable manner of dispersing the funds. And they've been in litigation concerning how they're going to distribute this money in the past. And they believe that this will be fairer and more equitable to everyone involved. Now, what Hamilton County construes as being more fair and equitable. Now, the other question is, how much have we gotten so far? It's
We've
an
got
opportunity.
$11,000, between $11,000 and $13,000 every year is what we get through Hamilton County for the local government fund. And that is reported in the budget. It is one of the revenue resources that we have. It may fluctuate from one year to the other because it's all based on sales stuff.
Well, based on sales, and it's not related to food this year, it's probably going to go down.
I mean, that's part of it. There's probably more. It describes it in here, you know, I mean. It talks about the tax evaluation of the property taxes. But, you know, the state of Ohio has local government money, and they've actually cut back on all of the counties. And then like Hamilton County, they've actually given us more money because they're picking up a share of what the state took away from us.
In other words, you're telling us in item 4 of the addendum, we're guaranteed not to receive less than 90%.
All I'm telling you is what I know we received for the last couple of years. It's between $11,000 and $13,000. There again, we can table it, and if we miss a deadline or something, we miss it. I mean,
What was that addendum, Bob, you were talking about?
Right here.
Oh, it's in the big thing.
Wait.
Are you saying that the least we would get is 90% of what we're getting
Correct.
now? Well, based on $11,000, that's only 1,000 or so less. At 90%, right?
I don't think so. I think what they're talking about is what the state has allocated in their portion down to the county, and we're gonna get a portion of what the county's getting.
You are gonna get a portion of what the county says,
But it's
gets.
better than nothing.
Right, but, so, under A, under this agreement, Hamilton County Park District gets $300,000 or 1% of the entire amount of the fund. The remaining amount to be allocated, Hamilton County gets 40.75. Of the remaining amount, the city of Cincinnati gets 40.75%. Okay, the remaining amount to be allocated after the allocation, paragraph A above, and after the allocations made in paragraphs B and C, shall be made to the remaining villages, townships, and cities as follows. So, of the remaining monies, hundreds of thousands to be set aside as an emergency fund to be used at the discretion of the Budget Commission for fiscal emergencies that occur in these political subdivisions. That's anyone except the city of Cincinnati. Then, any remaining funds at the end of the funding year shall be added to the next year's distribution. After the emergency fund is set aside, the base amount for each political subdivision shall be established. The base amount for each political subdivision shall be 75% of the average of the undivided local government fund allocation made to the subdivisions 2017, 18, and 19. Then after the total base amounts have been subtracted from the total amount available, the remainder shall be allocated as follows. Then it describes how that'll be distributed. But then it says, notwithstanding items 2, 3, A, B, and C above, if after allocations have been determined, any public political subdivision that has been allocated less than 90% of its 2019 or 20 allocation, whichever is greater, that's the floor, you can't go below, or its statutory minimum, that subdivision's allocation will be increased to bring it up to that amount, which is the floor. So you're guaranteed of getting 90%, at least of what you're getting now.
So this is like a back pay kind of situation, is that how, am I thinking that correct?
I don't think it's back pay. I think what they're telling you is they're gonna fix your amount at least 90% in the coming years through 2028 at a minimum. And at one point, we used to get a lot of money.
That's when it was referred to as the personal property taxes that Casey did away with. And they promised us they would come back with a CAT tax or something, which never happened.
Right.
And we are, like I said, we are receiving local government money. We get the biggest part of it from Hamilton County. We may get it twice a month, and I think the last time, I'm just going from memory, it was between 10,000 and 11,000 that we got, like, within the last year. I mean, I don't know every number on the top of my head, just, Jesus. Why bother?
I'll make the motion to accept the resolution for the alternative method of apportioning the local government fund, suspend rules and read it by title only 3 times.
I second that.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Steve Dalton. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
First reading, a resolution authorizing the adoption of an alternative method of apportioning the local government fund. Second reading, a resolution authorizing the adoption of an alternative method of apportioning the local government fund. Third reading, a resolution authorizing the adoption of an alternative method of apportioning the local government fund.
Make a motion that we accept the ordinance as read.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Dan Dalton. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford, Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Then additionally, I went back through and I had Margret check this. There was an issue with these trailers across the street. And I think that ordinance number 2001-23 will address that issue as far as the trailers across the street.
What's the ordinance say, Bob?
It's an ordinance prohibiting the parking of commercial vehicles, trucks, trailers, recreational vehicles, boats, and motorhomes on the streets of the village of Addyston. I checked that one out, and I also checked out, there's another one from 2015, but I think the one from 2001, 23, I can either make copies of it tonight and give it to you, and then you can take a look at it, but I think we could
But that is if they're parked on the street,
parked on the street or,
because he's got them on the, like, on the land.
right. And so one of the questions is what district that's in. Section 2 says in a residential district, the parking of a commercial vehicle, truck, boat, trailer, recreation vehicle, or mobile home shall be prohibited unless it is parked or stored in a garage or other accessory building or yard in any residential district.
Or yard?
Place.
So, or yard, would that be considered a yard if it's on his property?
Well, then, if you go to section 3, the parking or storage of inoperable or abandoned vehicles is prohibited outdoors in all districts. The location or duration of temporary parking or storage of an unlicensed operable vehicle may be approved by the zoning inspector through the issuance of a temporary zoning certificate on the basis of the adequacy of the parcel size, condition of the vehicle, validity, viability from other, or visibility, excuse me, from other properties in the absence of undue adverse impact on adjacent property or on the area as a whole. Let's see here. Shall be prohibited unless it is parked or stored in a garage or other accessory building or yard in any residential district. So, I don't know whether, is that a residential district there?
That was my question. It has historically been a business district.
Right.
Commercial.
So if that's the case, then we go to item number 3. Parking or storage of an inoperable or abandoned vehicle is prohibited outdoors in all districts. In all districts.
Because it's not being used for a business since the business is now gone. But I mean, it still would be zoned commercial, I believe, because it hasn't been changed.
And we know, like, so like, how do we define something as inoperable?
It's a trailer.
No, I'm just asking, like,
Just have the police go, tell them to start it up, if I'm correct, huh?
Well, it's a trailer.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is a trailer, how you.
Well, yeah,
start that trailer up.
It's just a trailer without the truck on it.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
and then if we're addressing that property, what about we have the trailer storage units
I'll tell Bob.
down at the corner of,
Okay.
First and Main?
Yeah, I think this is where this all came about.
That's,
This has been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
it is. And that's sort of my question. I certainly wasn't wanting to have a long meeting, I was like, to come in there and go.
Yeah.
Being one of the most at risk people in the building here, so, but anyway. The question that I have is, have we settled who it belongs to? That's why we couldn't get anything done before, and all the times we tried, because you were trying to determine who to deliver this information to get them to clean it up, because it was in the courts.
Do we have the tags on those?
I can get them again. We had them 2 or 3 years ago when
Were
they
they
first started.
updated then?
They were expired at that point, if I remember correctly.
All I need,
I think one was valid, one was expired back then. They're probably both expired now.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they got.
put a
tagged
sticker on them, tell them they've got 30 days to move them, or they'll be removed.
Well, I think what we need to do is make a copy of this and provide it to council. And then we can start the process now, and come back at the council meeting, at the next meeting, and then let you know what the progress is. And I think it should be through the police department and through the building inspector. Do both of them. And I'll make a copy of this,
And that is, if we get the license plate, then that's who we go after then.
with or without. You know, if the person who owns the property says it's not theirs,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But do we know who owns it? Because that was a stumbling block for a while.
the owner of that parcel,
Uh-huh.
okay, I'll check that.
That was where our stumbling block come in before, because we just didn't know Al and
Well,
all those
they
people.
dropped
in
it
court.
too because those lots got
But the
combined.
equipment
that was
belongs
the
to
problem.
So
somebody
that,
else.
yeah, so now that they've actually finished with the combining of those lots, it should be very clear who it is.
Mhm.
Well, I've been watching Highway to Hell, so I think we could probably find somebody else.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Bob, the trailers belong to somebody else. They do not belong to Al.
Yeah,
Right, that's what he was saying.
right.
Okay.
But yeah, even at that, we're saying they would be illegally parked regardless of who they belong to.
And there's still the junk on property.
Mhm.
Little Addyston.
And that's what I had to report, that's it,
So that's all you have?
yes. The other thing, I did send you an ordinance over on purchases of weapons by the police department. I don't know if you received that one or not, but that's one you should take a look at. Did you get that one?
I got it and I printed it off today because it was several emails ago.
Right.
I can run out and get it.
Oh, you should just send it out to them
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
that
they
they can
have
take
it.
a look at it.
okay.
All right. That's all you have, Bob?
That's it.
All right, we'll go to committee reports. Dan Pillow?
Yeah, first thing, Mayor, Margaret, what was the resolution number? Number one.
I know I didn't get to say that. I sort of went like one.
I certainly don't have a lot to bring, but I think, being that we're not talking about, we need to take a few minutes to talk about coronavirus and what our reaction to it's going to be and how we're going to function as a community from this point on. Most of you have been watching the news, you understand that they just keep getting tighter and tighter and tighter. 10 people now, they don't want more than 10 people in a meeting, in an area, together. Of course, we're beyond that right now. But I certainly think in terms of moving forward that we should think in terms of how we as a body are going to do this. If it gets worse, I need to find out personally, or at least have a conversation about maybe teleconferencing with that number or that access being given to the public. I don't know how that works in the sunshine laws.
Well, right now, I just heard on the news, they're working on that.
Mm-hmm.
That may happen in other areas,
Yeah.
but it has to be approved
Yeah.
because it's a violation of the sunshine law.
All right.
They did just say that.
I'm sure as soon as they get something, they'll send it down, because I've been trying to copy everybody on everything I'm receiving from all the sources.
Right,
Even if it's
absolutely.
vendors,
Yeah.
you know, because
So-
I don't want anybody to think that, I don't want you to know, because I want everybody to know.
I think that's something that we, at this time, should try to take and see if that's something we should want to explore. Maybe the communications committee can give us something on guidelines between now. We don't meet for what, 3 weeks now?
We already, so part of our Google Suite already has a teleconferencing software built in. It's Google Meets. Allows for video chatting. What I don't know if it allows open access, so like anybody with a URL can watch.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you can send out an invite, anybody with an invite can join, but that can get a little crazy. But since I've got nothing else to do because all my classes are currently virtual for the foreseeable future, like they were saying for the schools today, the reality is we're planning for the next 3 weeks, but we're also figuring we're probably not going to see these kids again for this school year.
Mm-hmm.
By the time everything in the dust settles.
Sure.
I did have another question about that. Like, I know like Duke Energy with all the new things going on and restrictions, people are going to be struggling paying their bills. And do we want, what, are we going to shut off people's water if they can't pay their water bill? Where does
That's
that
not
fall?
something I'm interested in doing, but still, the water board has their thing in
Rules.
place, rules in place that they follow. I mean, that's something that they're gonna have to address as well,
Yeah, and
as
I
far
think
as
it'd be
with the water,
something
right.
in order for us to talk.
And as far as like I've called each one of you about this already, you know, I at least wanted to have this so we can do this discussion, but after tonight, I think we should follow suit with everyone else, and I want to shut us down tomorrow morning and put out an all-call.
I would agree. When you say shut us down, you mean just open?
We'll still have our employees here, they'll still be taking phone calls, they can still take payments and all that stuff. We just won't have entry, public entry to the building, at least until, we'll keep watch, see what the governor's doing, oh boy. And just kind of keep up with the CDC, see what they're doing, Hamilton County Health, and just stay up with whatever they're doing.
Are there
So I
anything?
know, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, like, in terms of especially our police officers who are on the street, is there anything we need to do or need to provide for them or our employees to like, whether it's Clorox wipes, if we can get them?
That's pretty much what we've been doing.
Okay, I just didn't know if there's any
Chip's been on
special
top of
things
that
you need
as
to keep
well.
them safe as much as
We all
possible.
have, we've all
Yeah,
been buying
Chip,
stuff.
all of them, everybody has been really good team players in this as far as having the wipes, gloves,
Yeah, like after last
sprays.
After last week, when they had Mayor's Court, they came in and cleaned the facilities
Yeah.
and
So everybody's been really good at participating, trying to keep things.
I particularly am happy that we're moving and sort of letting, interacting to make sure that we do best practices that are
That's
around.
kind of what I'm pushing, right.
And of course, I have another issue with that, maybe more, well, there's a few people around the table over 65 that should be concerned about that. Yeah,
Right.
so, could we hear from the chief? Fire chief, see what's going on anywhere else, if he has any information?
Are we skipping the, I was gonna.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry, we hadn't gotten there yet, okay, but while we're in this discussion, you know, that he might,
But I do want to discuss that, but I'd rather get through committee business first.
Oh, okay.
I mean, 'cause, yeah, that's definitely something I
That
want to
was my
discuss,
order
but
of
let's
business,
get
because I wanted to get in and get out.
yeah. I agree.
That's all that I have, I don't see anything
No,
that I have
we'll
that's
definitely be
pressing.
going back to. when we
Okay,
get to
thank
that.
you. And just to report that the agencies that I've worked, and I'm working with, they have suspended their meetings as well. You
Yeah,
know, Hamilton
most all of
County and
them.
those kind of people, so, I don't
I think
have,
unless we have anything like this emergency and like
Right.
extremely pressing, we just hang in there and just stay with the shutdown for a while. You know, because it's really gonna be hard when, if you don't know how to get on Skype, Google, or anything like that, and then trying to, because then if somebody has to say, well, here, I'll show you, you're still gonna be put at risk, because somebody's gonna have to show you, somebody, you know what I mean? I don't know, or maybe not you, but, you know, just to get everybody going,
sure.
up and going on something like that.
Okay.
We're going to be in contact, and that's probably, like, if we don't have anything pressingly emergency,
Mhm.
I think we
I
just
agree.
need to just hang in there with the rest of them.
I agree, that's all I have, Mayor.
I'm sorry.
That's
Are you
all I
finished?
have.
Okay. Lisa?
While she's contemplating, Well, it'll be in our discussion about committee meetings, if we can do the same thing via, teleconferencing,
Oh,
all those kind of things, when we get to that. Yeah, okay, great.
And that's what, I mean, if it's not super pressing,
Mhm.
then, but if committees, I don't know if we have to do video conferencing. They haven't really specified that.
Three people might be fine in a room like this.
I'm sure that as soon as they.
As soon as they do it, we'll know about it.
Mhm.
And then if I get anything, I'll definitely, I've been trying to forward a lot of the things that I've been getting to you guys.
And
And
I
I feel
have
like,
to.
really important, yeah. So you've probably been getting a lot of emails, I'm assuming.
I said if nobody wants, if you want me to stop sending you this, let me know, but no one will come back.
No, 'cause-
I know, Saturday Pam and I went through the closet over here to inventory all the prizes for We Thrive. Hopefully, we're gonna make it to We Thrive.
That's June. We might, who knows?
At this point.
So, I don't know if she's got a report on that since that's her baby, but we were in here and there was just so much junk in there. Can we, I was perturbed by food that was in that closet that expired 2 years ago.
Oh, it was 19.
It was 19.
It was
The coffee was 18.
The
No, it was
coffee,
19.
Was it 19?
Yeah, it was all 19. It's still good, I was told.
It's still good?
I ate
It's
some
not for you,
burritos, they
not-
were actually good.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was perturbed by it because
was sitting out.
I'm like, really? I mean, I understand that things just get put away like that, but,
That's not something we intentionally try to do.
From
okay.
now on, we'll sit it out to the help.
That would be a much better idea to do than to leave it sitting in there and nobody ever get to benefit from it. So, that's just it's a pet peeve.
So it's all
I'm sorry.
nice and clean.
We got some water in there that
Yeah.
go for a good price right
There's,
now.
well, yeah, really. There's lots of soda pops still in there too. I don't know how long
Yeah,
that
that
lasts.
there was something I purchased and I didn't turn in a receipt.
Um,
So some of that pops mine, I'd appreciate that if you left alone.
hey. Drink it.
You want to keep it, take it home, just.
Well, no, I'll take it upstairs and put it in the fridge up there, and put it in the fridge back here. One of the two.
There are still 4 boxes of those t-shirts in there too, those purple t-shirts. Or do we have a plan for like trying to sell those or something so we can get rid of them too? That was your baby, wasn't it, those t-shirts?
no, that's not my baby. That was something voted on by the committee that was working on that, so.
Okay.
But at any rate, yeah, I think that's something that, planning committee, whatever the fundraising operation is, should
Okay.
try to put a,
Like, that was my idea, maybe try to put a link or something on there, sell these t-shirts even if we have to do it
And
at a
those
discounted
coins that goes
cost.
along with those, yeah.
Is there
We were talking
coins?
about that previously, that was something else that's supposed to go up on the web, or whatever you call not Facebook, but on the village.
Was there a
On the
form
website.
for the t-shirts or the coins that we could duplicate
We
for
haven't,
the website?
I can't say that we've really gotten to that point on the website because we were doing the website and then we're gonna be able to put all these different things in there rather than just stick something else on the front page and say, do this, do that, we need some organization. So we need the website done and then we can get some of the other things that we need to do done.
Lots of things need done.
Can we maybe put one of the t-shirts on a hanger and put it on display over in our window across the street and, for purchase, come and see me or, something like see Aaron or, something like that?
sure,
Yeah.
whatever, we just need to get rid
I'm
of it.
just saying,
Yeah.
that we might be able to put like some kind of bright background if they're, what are they? They're purple, aren't they?
Yeah.
Dark blue. Something like that and just let them know they're there. If anybody's interested, come on over.
Right, yeah.
Once the building's open again.
Yeah. when the-
Yeah, right.
Lisa, did you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Dan?
Nothing at this time.
And?
Planning Commission met March 3rd, And our main purpose for meeting was to discuss the playground project. And Bob Riley is supposed to be coming the 23rd of March to start the next step for erecting playground. Chip may be able to give us more on that when he gives his report. And we also talked about getting the driveway installed and maybe the walking path, depending on how much left once we get the driveway done. We also discussed ideals for fundraising. The first one that we talked about was for May 6th, a street sale, kind of attaching ourselves to the US 50 yard sale. So we have to see how that goes. And we have other suggestions that we'll continue to discuss, supposedly at tomorrow night's meeting, but I don't know if we'll meet tomorrow night or not. So, what does council feel about that?
Well, it's an open public meeting, so if the building's shut down tomorrow morning, then that would have to be canceled.
Yes, we'd have to cancel it.
Yeah.
And the other thing was we discussed the purchasing of and getting the exercise equipment installed that was provided through the grant from We Thrive. So we have the 3 pieces that we had agreed to order back then. So we need to get that process going. So that's all I have. If anyone has anything to add, please do.
So on the May 16th, is that just going to be just a few people in it with Chip?
Yeah,
The
Chip,
installation.
and I was gonna help Chip, I and Bob, I don't know, we weren't gonna have a community-wide
Yeah,
installation
I think so.
on the 23rd.
23rd, probably not that day, because that day is going to be sorting through a lot of stuff and trying to get things organized
Okay.
for the installation, because he's going to come down. I'm sure he's going to want to go through a lot of that stuff. So I would say maybe it's definitely going to happen that week. You know, just pay attention. You'll start seeing equipment going out there, then you know it's getting ready to go up that week. So if you're interested in helping, just kind of drive by. I mean,
Might be by that point.
drive by.
Is that all, Ms. Ann?
Oh, yes.
Steve?
Nothing as committee chair, but, and I'm doing it this way because the committee has not had a chance to meet with everything going on and
Right.
everything we've been through, but one of the discussions was we still have a 3% raise out there that we had budgeted, that we had talked about implementing for the remaining staff. But the finance committee did not get a chance to meet to discuss this. So I'm throwing this out there just as a regular council member, not as the head of the committee. Just to be clear, I'm not speaking on behalf of the committee at this point. But in the fact that we're not going to meet for another 3 weeks, and we've done the additional pay raise for our part-time officers to get that up and running, I would like to go ahead and make a motion that we raise the sergeant's pay to $26.75, the maintenance worker 2's pay to $19.62, the maintenance worker 1 position to $17.31, and the administrative assistant in the mayor's, or in the clerk's office, raised to $17.31. Those would be the 3% raises for the remainder of the staff that we had budgeted for this fiscal year. So I'd like to make a motion that we declare an emergency, suspend the rules, and implement those raises effective this date.
I'll second it.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Lisa Stafford. Any discussion?
Yeah, do we have to, as you said, by ordinance, right, to make that
You do
through?
need an ordinance.
Correct.
An ordinance to do that,
You want them effective as of today?
Yes.
yeah. And of course, I will ask in the discussion, obviously, there was no provision or thought, because we had, what changed it so we could do it today and we couldn't do it before? So,
It
all I'm
was-
saying is.
Concerns about legal fees.
About what, I'm sorry?
There were legal fees, there were overtimes initially in the police department that were far exceeding what we budgeted for. So we had to postpone, and we also had the cash flow concern. So we wanted to wait to make sure those stabilized before because obviously the largest expenditure for the village are people. So we wanted to wait till those things stabilized before we increased them.
Okay, so all those things are stable then, okay.
Thanks.
But anyway, obviously, I'm advocating and always have advocated that we do something back retro on this, but that's my other discussion, that I wish we could do something retro on that rate. So that's discussion.
I also have to say, I haven't seen any of the numbers or anything that everything's stabilizing or increased. Do we have something that says that? Have you seen, I'm just.
Every time I've asked Margret for the cash flow or our bank account, it's been roughly right around the same number, give or take about $10,000.
I think you guys need to meet again. Some things have come up, and you just need to meet again to make sure of where we're at on this. The committee needs to meet.
Like I said, I'm not speaking as the head of the finance committee at this moment in time. I'm just speaking as a regular council member.
Because it's something we said we.
I don't want to hold it up another minute. I don't want to hold it up another day. If it's not going to be retro from this date when at least Steve
Part
has
of this.
proposed it,
That
that
should be a part of
we'll
it.
pass it. Let's
Bernard
just
said
get
he'd
it.
bring that separately.
But there's always an ordinance, and the ordinance, it lists all the employees that are getting a raise.
So
They did have an
was
ordinance
that
once,
included
and
on
it was referred to
that
council.
she's paid out of the water funds?
The water board clerk,
Correct.
I'd have to look at the
They didn't
ordinance,
propose anything.
but it really depends on, it depends what the request is.
Well, because Bernard wants to bring back hers too, separately from that. Now, I don't know.
Bernard wants to raise the water board.
They voted to, the water board at their March meeting voted to raise their clerk by $2.
What's that raise?
It takes it from $14 to $16.71 or 81 cents, something like that.
So that raise exceeds,
That's not.
That is-
This raise.
Right.
and that raise has to be approved by village council, because that's what happened last time. So that's an issue for the Board of Public Affairs to get with council to hash that out.
But, and the purpose of it was also thinking ahead that to use her, like when our administrative secretary is off, to use her.
As a backup,
As
because
a
she's
backup plan.
RCIC certified, so remember that.
He kind of
She is a
approached me,
commodity.
but we never talked about, as the committee yet. So that was one of the reasons why the difference in the pay was.
Right, but what I'm saying is, that should be probably something that council discusses with the water board. Find out what the water board's thinking, and then what council's thinking. And then if somebody says, put the water board clerk in there, I can put it in.
Right.
I guess the question is, and I kind of heard from Margret, Pam, in the meetings that they were in, is that their understanding is, maybe you can explain to Bob what your understanding is, but the board is autonomous. We
They
have
don't
nothing
set
to
the
do.
raises and they don't set the pay, is what we were told. And in this last audit, I was asked by the audit team why council is voting on the water board raises, because it's normally not done. And I said, well, we've always done it that way.
I'll bring it over.
So I'm just saying that, and Bernard asked me, and I told Bernard, I said, you have to go to council. I know that in the past, you guys felt that because of her stepping in to what she did and bringing everything current and learning the system, bringing in more revenue for that was missed for almost 2 years, over $100,000 from one customer, and being RCI certified, be able to step in when the village would need her to fill in for our administrative secretary, clerk of courts, whatever Interim is. I told him I had nothing to do with it, I was just the village clerk, that he had to talk to council, and I think he did reach out and talk to somebody on council.
He did approach me, but we haven't had a meeting. That was just the other day when he approached me about
Right, it's
why
recent.
the $2. But we haven't met in finance to discuss anything.
So is it that they're wanting to bring her up to the same rate of pay that Aaron gets, or?
I don't think she can get the same rate.
No, it's not the same rate of pay, and you have to remember, she's not a 4-year employee,
Right.
so she would not make what Aaron would make
Right.
bi-weekly anyhow.
I didn't know if they were just trying to make that position same rate of pay as the executive
No.
secretary.
Yeah, he mentioned that it would be the same.
And she doesn't get
If she
benefits
filled in
either.
for, it would be at that rate. It wouldn't be an additional fee, pay or anything. She had to fill in for our clerk's
So
position.
how
So
much
there
is,
would be or
There
would
would
not?
not be.
Would not be, okay.
They would accept, that's why I said for the same amount, I said, yeah. So there wouldn't be any difference in the pay.
It would be
the
at the
same.
water board's rate of pay.
Mhm.
Then we would just pay those hours.
Which actually, I think that position's rate of pay is the same as the substitute secretary's rate of pay, if I
And
recall
then to,
correctly.
yeah, and then to add to that, in the laws and contracts, we've also kind of changed some names around or suggesting to council, which right now we've still got that laws and contract I was gonna report on, but as far as names, and then just like our maintenance, we call them part-time, it's casual, there's some things we need to correct.
We have a
And
motion
the
on the
pay
table
ordinance.
still here.
Yeah,
And the only thing I would throw out there, that even though I said Sergeant Maintenance Worker 2, which is Chip,
Yeah.
Maintenance Worker 1 is currently not employed. We have not hired that position. So realistically, we're talking about giving Aaron a 3% raise, giving Chip a 3% raise, and basically giving our interim chief as his sergeant role a 3% raise. Those are the people that we had budgeted for, that we had not done it. I know there are concerns, but the police department is the biggest expense to the village, and we've upped those, and we've been hiring officers, which has drastically cut down overtime, so as long as we don't go overtime crazy.
Chip, if I'm wrong, wasn't Chip's title supposed to be maintenance worker? Wasn't he supposed to be the lead, which is number 2?
I thought we did finally change it. Oh, you say 2?
Yeah, Chip was.
Well, he used to be 2, but there was always discussion why he was
Yeah.
2 and he should be 1.
One,
but-
and that's
Oh,
what
it's
I'm asking, was
flip-flopped
it ever
for some
straightened
reason.
out, or is that what he is? I mean,
That's what it came off the sheet as.
Mm-hmm.
When I pulled off the sheet that was sent to me about the current pay, that was the name of the position, and that was the
another
pay
thing we
rate.
get zinged on, is when
That's
things
another
aren't
thing.
right on the ordinance.
it's not right. We've got that in some of the policies.
So do we need to change the ordinance on him?
Few things, the titles. are
It's still
a little
titled
different.
it. Okay, so that's something that'll go back to committee.
Well, we have it, we just have to.
it's in the.
Right. Well,
Get
see,
it
things are
here.
in the works, so we have to have some patience here,
Yeah,
I agree.
you know?
Can I chime in for a minute?
Sure.
sure.
I know you guys probably don't want to hear this, but is there a reason why the casual workers aren't getting an increase? I mean, they're part of the team, and it's kind of like,
Thanks you for bringing that up, I appreciate that.
It was primarily, we raised what we could, and the police department part-time officers got a huge bump to be more competitive. So the goal was next budget cycle to see what we can do to help the part-time maintenance workers, but we also wanted to take care of our full-time people.
right.
That was our intent, that's why. We only could do so much at once.
If it's up to me, I would just assume, and I know you don't want to hear this, I would rather not have mine if they're not going to get any, because I just don't think that's fair. That's just the way I feel about it. I mean, they're out there doing the same thing, and they're going to be, I think it's going to cause a little dissension, in my opinion. I mean, that's like giving Pam a raise and you not a raise, you know? I mean, you're going to be like, what? I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. I just want to voice my opinion.
Well, let me ask you this. All I can just say is I budgeted a 3% raise on you and a maintenance worker, one that doesn't exist currently.
Right.
How would you feel if we took whatever that amount is, I don't know off the top of my head, And I divided that over you, if we hire the maintenance worker one, and we have the money budgeted. What if we took that money and if, judging how you feel, what if I just, instead of distributing it here, we distribute it among the part-time workers as a whole?
As long as they get something, I just feel like they shouldn't be left out. I
So
just feel like that.
with that, then I would go ahead.
Can I've got the scales here. So with that maintenance worker one, that 3% came out to be exactly 50 cents.
An hour.
Yes.
I was talking like the overall big,
Okay.
I was
I
talking.
was gonna say, if we're gonna give it to the part-time, can we just split that between the two of them?
So what I was gonna say is, at least with the maintenance piece, table that so the committee can meet based on what Chip's requesting and come back with
I
a
think it
different
would be
recommendation.
fair to
I do too.
put them into the loop here. That's just my opinion, I can't tell you all what to do, but
Well, we're in the middle of a discussion, so we can't make any motions, so this.
Well, motion was already.
the motion's already on the floor.
I mean,
but-
about something other than what the motion is.
Right,
Yeah, we
exactly.
can make a motion on Chip.
So I only have a motion at the moment, I didn't get a second.
And
You
got a second.
Oh, okay,
You're
that's
still in
right.
discussion.
can I table mine until the next council meeting? Whenever that may be.
That's fine.
I'm in favor of doing some more investigation, so long as that date does not go
If
to
you
the
go-
next date
now,
that
if
you
keep
guys
it in-
meet. It'd be retroactive.
To this day.
Is council okay, the plan will be making it effective this date once we figure out what effective is? Like what we're going to do based on what Chip's recommendation was?
Well, it's up to council.
That's the way it'll be.
Do you need a motion to that effect?
Well,
He just tabled it.
He just
so-
tabled his. You
But do we need a
motion?
With
motion?
the
to say that
effective
it
date
has to
for
be-
today.
Yes.
Yeah, the effective date. So there's a motion for the effective date now. Who made that motion?
That would be me.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Dan Dalton, second by Dan Pillow. Any discussion about that? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Ann Dalton,
Yeah.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yeah.
Dan Jackson.
Yay.
Steve, did you have anything else?
No, I think it caused enough trouble for one night.
Sure about that?
Interim.
Don't ever ask him that.
Pam?
Yeah, we have had some laws and contracts meetings, trying to get the policy procedure manual done. We met on the 13th of February, the 19th, the 25th. Right now, it's in review with, I've typed it up, Ann has it, Dan has it. As soon as, I'm still waiting to hear from you if it's okay or whatever, and I'm gonna send it to all the rest. And then we wanted to have, with everything going on, we had to kind of postpone it. I wanted to do that today, before today, and get it out to everybody. But we'll try to target to the next council meeting. And a lot of that, some of it's got to do with some name changes on positions, things like that, because we're doing it, we don't want to have to go back and do it again. And then, of course, the police has got to do a portion of what they're doing on the police committee. So we turned some of that over to Dan. And his
Yeah,
committee.
that's gonna have to have a meeting for that. I was gonna bring that up later.
All right, so then the other meeting we had was a We Thrive meeting on the 4th of March. It's a special event because there's, and then we post as a regular meeting because we want everybody to be involved. We did talk about the last council meeting, but we're usually all there, so we don't get in trouble with sunshine laws. Nothing's changed, we're all the same people. I mean, it takes all of us to get this done. And the set date that we discussed before that was June 13th, I believe. Was that the date that?
The 12th or 13th.
That was set
It was
before.
the second Saturday.
That was, we already talked about that before we had this last meeting. But we just talked about getting the letters, that was the main thing. And Margret volunteered to do that for us, so we can
And I
request
have got some out. I need to do a few more that I do
for
have.
donations, basically. And then kind of just go over a little bit of the typical setup, which is always usually the same. And then just asking for any suggestions. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else. Anybody else has anything to add on the special events. And then I know the Easter egg hunt is coming up, so that is probably gonna have to be canceled, I'm assuming. That's supposed to be April the 4th, whatever that first Saturday is.
It's gonna
Push
be,
it out, I don't know, one of the.
The next week is Easter, so I don't know if we should do it after the fact. I don't know. I think that it might
You
be,
guys.
is the township still having theirs?
They were debating that. I would imagine that it will probably get canceled.
Yeah, that's what I said, I had.
The last that I heard, I
Yeah.
can't officially say that for them, but.
like I said, the educational report is the schools are looking realistically, we're gonna be closed for probably closer to 3 months. And it's because we have kids, and kids are dirty and nasty, and we love them. But they do know, like, they're the biggest spreader of disease.
They are.
So I think realistically, for people's health, people are gonna understand if we don't do it this year.
Yeah, I mean, we've already purchased the candy, so I don't know, I guess council will have candy every meeting, or whoever wants to come in.
Well, the candy will preserve for a year, won't it?
I don't think so. Freeze it. Freeze it. But, because I was gonna have to go purchase more, because I just bought some to start with, but we stopped eggs.
Maybe just don't purchase
Last
anymore,
night.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's about
If you need
3
help
groups
again, I'll
down.
come down and help again.
I just don't think there's any need to
Yeah.
keep doing it if it's not gonna happen.
It was hard to stuff those
Waste
eggs
of
and not
time.
be able to eat some of that licorice.
But anyhow, so I was just thinking what's council want to do, because we won't meet again until after this date is supposed to happen.
And that's if we meet.
We can always get closer through email. I mean, that's a yes or no go.
Well, I just have to keep, I gotta be prepared if we are gonna do it, because it's not. That's the thing.
Mathematically, like looking at the numbers, it's not gonna clear up that fast.
Because now they're saying no more than
Yeah, I
10 people, they just dropped it down to 10, so.
And they've closed everything else in terms of
So,
restaurants
you know,
and
we're
whatnot.
probably
so
looking at over there, at least probably 100 people, I would say.
I think we're gonna have to let it go for this
Yeah, we
year.
couldn't go
So
inside
do
the
you want to
VFW because
cancel
it's
or not?
closed.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't matter if it's inside or out, you just can't.
Well,
get
there's something
people.
about for the eggs and stuff
Do
like
we
that.
need a motion
you know.
or no?
I just think that we should, if someone asks, we need to let, you know, who's over here, like Aaron, that it's, we're not gonna do it. I would say that's a moot point. And then the other thing would be the cleanup.
Did we schedule a date for the cleanup yet?
I think we should
No, that was
push
something that Chip was gonna bring up.
Was
We
it?
didn't.
Okay. I'll leave that
We
to
did
you,
want to
Jeff.
discuss that. Well, either way, we're gonna have to discuss it.
All right, that's
Did
all I
you-
have?
That's all you got?
Yeah. So the Easter egg hunt is officially canceled, right?
We just need consensus. Is everybody in
Yes.
agreement to that?
I agree.
I mean, I don't want to cancel, but.
I don't want to cancel, but you know, it's
But
I think it's a
for
public
the safety,
safety thing.
for it's kids.
We don't have a choice.
Kids and a lot of grandmas.
Everyone's in agreement on that?
you know, can I say this, since there's
Oh,
going to
thank
be
you.
an expenditure of money, can we do a motion and second in case next time the auditors ask?
Expenditure money for what, the
Yeah.
Easter egg hunt?
Yeah, because
I might
it was
still go,
authorized.
yeah, I might still go out and buy stuff if they mark it down.
But
We made
so
a
you
motion
have
to
expended
continue the
some,
money.
you
Yeah, I
have expended some money, so you would be turning a receipt in.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying is,
For
to
event
be-
we're not
for me to
having.
be on the safe side, I would like to be in a motion
Be in a motion for
to
what?
cancel the egg hunt,
Oh, the cancellation of it.
because there was money expended or will
Make a
be.
motion that we cancel the egg hunt.
All right.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Dan Dalton. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Angelo,
Dave?
Lisa Stafford,
Yes.
Ann Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yeah.
Pam Jackson.
yeah,
Is that all, Pam?
that's it.
We'll go to the fire chief, Chief Over. Did you have anything?
That's all he's saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just give you some stats. Last month, we only had one fire run in the village. That was to assist a resident that got locked out of his new apartment.
Okay.
And only 2 SWAT runs.
Wow. That's a record.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, that's probably the slowest that I've ever seen, so, which is a good thing. And do we want to discuss Corona, or do we want to wait for the other reports and then talk about it?
Oh, you want me to?
However you want to do it, Madam Mayor.
We'll go to our abatements.
I passed out a flyer to everybody. Hopefully everybody got it, if you haven't seen it yet. Just a few items on there. Last year, we had the windows done, inside and out. And we had the top of the municipal building was, the soffit was cleaned, and they really spent a lot of time on trying to get that off of that soffit around the top. They kind of recommended that we do it every year. That way it won't build up on there anymore. So I'm recommending or asking you guys if we can go ahead and just do the outside windows. We don't need to do the inside. They were wanting 198 to do the whole outside of the windows and 400 to do that top again. It would keep that top looking good, I think, if we did that. But that's my recommendation if you guys want to do it again this year.
I make a motion that we do the window cleaning and soft wash for $598.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Dan Dalton. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford. Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Jim Jackson.
Yay.
Oh, thank you. The salt shed is another item that I asked him to give me a price on. They use a chemical. He says if you pressure wash, the mold will always come back. It doesn't kill it. What they use is a chemical, which if you've seen on top, it hasn't really come back. It should hold up about 5 years, is what they're telling me. I didn't get time to paint the building. I sprayed it a year or two ago with that water seal, and that didn't work. Didn't do me any good at all. So it's getting really dark. I was going to see if you guys would, allow them to do their treatment on that one. Try to knock that stuff off of that wood.
Would the intent be to then paint it or stain it or?
He said it'll stay off of there for 5 years. That's what he told me. We can probably go paint it, or gotta get the time to do it. So
Will paint stick to the stuff after you sprayed it?
I would imagine it would, yeah.
In front of my house is wood, and I probably haven't stained it, probably should have, but I haven't stained it probably in the last 8, maybe even 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I always thought that it would be to our advantage to put a stain on that
Stain
building.
To paint it, it would look nicer coming into the village too.
Absolutely, yeah, it's just from my experience, not knowing how it's gonna work with the treatment.
Right. What's a chemical that cleans all the mold off of it? I guess it eats the mold is what it does, and
Mhm.
keeps it off of there. But I can ask him that, but I think we need to knock that off of there. I can't really paint over that.
Yeah.
Or stain over that. So that would be a start. After seeing what he did up here, it hasn't really changed in a year. I mean, I haven't seen any changes on this, which I thought was really good. But, I'm just making a recommendation to you guys. If I'd like to do it this year. If not, we'll
You
do
say
it
you have
another
costs
year.
on, I'm sorry, I missed.
$378 to do the building.
$378. I don't see a problem, it's gonna have to be done.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be done. So I would make a motion that we allow Chip to spend $387 within that area to clean the salt shed.
I'll second.
Motion by Dan Pillow, second by Pam Jackson. Is there any discussion on that? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yeah.
Lisa Stafford, Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yeah.
Jim Jackson.
Yay.
And then the cleanup, if we get 20 volunteers and we're gonna, do it, say April, I'm hoping April 18th as a date to be approved, but are we creating another problem with this coronavirus going this or not? I don't know. I just don't know.
I think we should wait till the
Yeah.
dust settles from the virus before we try to do the cleanup.
Do all kinds of, I mean, yeah, we got public all over the place.
Because
Well,
I
not
mean,
to mention what are you guys getting in, or what is anybody getting into when you start hauling everybody's trash and stuff and
Makes sense.
that's
because-
something we might want to put off.
Yeah, because we actually have the authority to do it on whatever date we choose. They like to do us within a window, but if we're outside of that window, it's not a problem.
I think the shit will probably understand.
Yeah.
I think even at the end of summer is nice, because then we've had all summer to be outside and clean up.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that national?
I'm just, yeah, accumulate more to put out.
Well, there is that.
Isn't that National Cleanup Day?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to.
According to this, it's Saturday, September 20, I'm sorry, I take that back.
Should be March
September was
28th.
2019.
They used to center it around Earth Day,
Exactly.
Which is in April.
Mhm.
but now like Dan said, they expanded it.
Well, I'm gonna get a hold of her tomorrow to keep Cincinnati beautiful. She'd be back tomorrow. I couldn't talk to her today. She was on vacation. So they're supposed to have theirs March 28th. Their cleanup. I don't know if they canceled theirs or not.
I can't imagine that right
Because
now.
theirs is way bigger than ours.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure that actually is going to end up being canceled if it hasn't.
The National Cleanup Day for this year is listed as September 19th, 2020.
Oh, so they pushed it out.
I don't know if they pushed it out or not. That is National Cleanup Day, right?
Yeah.
Not that I
They're called
remember.
This is Great America.
Yeah, okay.
They've got several different things going on.
Yeah.
What's the one you said, Dan?
Keep America beautiful.
Keep, yeah,
It's
keep
sort of
Cincinnati beautiful.
national. Yes, and that is a part of Keep America Beautiful. They are also
Right.
part of that larger
So
organization.
council, what would you like to do with the cleanup? Just kind of hold off and maybe set the date later on this year?
That would be my consensus vote there. Wait till later.
I'll second.
Motion by Steve, second by Dan Pillow to wait on the cleanup until later. Is there any discussion about that? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
and Dalton,
Yeah.
and Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
and Jackson.
Yay.
And then the flower pots, I need to get some, I'm gonna call them pansies in the flower pots. We usually do it this time of the year and when they come out. So if you guys are still interested, or you don't wanna leave them bare.
I just read something, is there something in our minutes somewhere? There was $300 a lot for flower?
They're already in there?
Maybe I saw, maybe I did. Oh, so it's on, it was on
It's on
items for
Chip's
discussion.
report.
Yeah, it's on Chip's report.
Okay, it's on your report. Thank you, Chip. Okay.
Are these just for the pots you're talking about?
These are just out here. Just
How
out
many
here. I'm
pots
not
is
gonna
that?
plant the flower beds yet.
Oh, it's in the flower beds too.
No, I'm like, I don't wanna do that yet, because we get, well, I don't know, we usually get some from the Keep Cincinnati Beautiful, but we always plant those right before Memorial Day. So, obviously, we'll need money for that too, for the flowers for Memorial Day, but we don't need the.
So is this just for the pots, or is that?
This
that's
one
kinda
is just
steep
for
for
these
just the
out
Yeah,
here.
that is for just the pots, that's kind of expensive.
Yeah, just these,
Yeah.
out front of the building.
2, 3.
Pansies tend to hold up for quite a while, actually.
What's out there?
There's 3 on each side, I believe.
Yeah, he could probably spend a lot less than 300. But to put some out there to be done.
Last year I spent 200, but that was up at the other place, what
You think you can make it work with 200?
Please,
Think you can make it work with 200?
I'll try. It's like 8
We always go
pots out
down
there.
to Lowe's.
Yeah. We do have an account at Lowe's now, by the way.
Are you gonna touch that?
I'll try not to, I'll try not to get up there, I just want to be able to fill the pots up. To make it look pretty out there anyway.
We can wait till the county plants theirs and go dig some up there.
Well, I'll make a motion to allow him to, I guess we should lower it though. We'll try 200, see what you can do with that.
Yeah, we can do that, I just got to take the dirt out, but that stuff ain't too expensive,
I'll second
the
that.
dirt.
Motion by Pam, second by Steve Dalton. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford.
Yay.
Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay. You can give me some of the Easter one.
And,
You can plant candy in there.
Put the eggs in.
Put the eggs in the box.
We'll get some of that one.
Where are we at?
Oh, boy.
Last one's mine.
personnel, I'm gonna have to bring somebody in the mowing season, so, and I think that's gonna be sooner than later. We had a warm winter. So I was looking at the 30th of March, but that's what I'm asking.
Do we post those positions?
Please?
Do we post those positions when we bring in, like, so when we bring in the part-time, whoever part-time are, do we post that for open hirement, or is it just like the same people,
well,
or how's that work?
Howard's willing to go another year. I don't know if he's gonna go anymore after that, though. I think he's been talking about maybe stepping down. But he's laid off right now. I mean, he's been home. So, I'd like to bring him back, but like I said, he's wanting to go maybe one more year. Yeah, I think he's ready to retire completely.
I guess this question for Bob, should we, I don't know what, if we're doing this right or wrong. Can we just hire whoever, or do we need to kind of take applications like we do for other positions?
Well,
Even though it's really casual, I don't know why we keep calling it part-time, because it's a casual position. And we should kind of get back to that, I guess.
I think you hire whoever the best person is that thinks he can use. It's different with the police department because that's set up by a specific statute. But as far as Chip being the street commissioner, as long as he's not hiring his brother-in-law or something like that, which I haven't seen, he's got a group of people over there who have been doing that work and performing it well with them.
Yeah, just making sure that what we're doing is, you know, no one else out there can say, hey, they didn't give me an opportunity or whatever.
Well, they've had those complaints.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And my answer has always been, you got a guy here who's in reasonable health, knows the terrain, knows stuff that sometimes Chip has asked him about, you know, and learning the terrain. Just familiarity with the whole situation helps, instead of trying to break somebody in. That's just my opinion.
Chip, do you know what your hours expected work would be for the part-time?
They were running 32 hours a week. Since we don't have the maintenance one guy, I mean, it's kind of a wash. 32 hours a week for each guy.
Because we budgeted for that number, but it was only, so 5 months.
For 5 months.
For 5 months. For the whole year. So like, but that was also if you had the maintenance worker, the other full-time maintenance worker.
Right, if we had the other full-time maintenance worker, then I can see the other guy only working during the heat of the season, you know, when we need them real bad, so. Personnel, I understand that, but we don't have that. We're working 2 guys for 1 guy. That's not even being on the payroll. 2 casual workers taking the place of a full-time guy.
Is 5 months enough for the grass cutting season? Start in March, will that get you through?
Get you into November, usually in November you're done.
Huh?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I'm asking if you can make it effective April 1st to do with payroll reasons.
Oh, because of the
Instead of March
reporting.
30th, April
Yeah.
1st,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would have been the start of a new pay period. But, yeah, I mean, usually November, the grass is done mowing. We're done mowing the grass. Everything's not calming down because, you know, we just got off a haunted house and we're getting ready to do the Christmas lights. By the time January rolls around, then we're finally calmed down. And that's the way it works.
Instead of 5, right?
So realistically, you'd be talking, what, April 1st, so that's 4.
April 1st through at least September for
So-
mowing, right?
November. Grass is done in
Okay,
November.
November. So that's 7 months there, isn't it? April, May, June, July, September, October, November, it's 8 months.
Margaret, please. That's not appropriate.
Just so we have a clear picture, I think what Chip was saying is what we've always run into, that we run out of grass cutting season, then we prepare for, the rest of the holidays until the end of the year, and getting that stuff up and getting the stuff down. Nothing really changes unless you just don't want those things to happen.
Unless we hire someone.
Well, and that's the struggle for the last 2 years. We've budgeted on hiring somebody.
But it hadn't cost you anything, right?
No, well,
Yeah.
it eats up money in the budget, and then what happens is the part-time workers, it causes issues, and it's harder to keep track of where we're at because it muddies the waters, if that makes sense. So Chip, what I would ask is, at least on behalf of the finance committee, maybe we sit down, like, I'm okay, if you need them, you need them. And obviously, we're not paying for the maintenance worker one.
Right.
So, but kind of keep us in the loop, and maybe we'll give you like a finance report of like, hey, here's the hours, you can work them based on the money we have for this month.
No, I'm good with that. You send me an email telling me exactly what I need or what I'm gonna get, but we're gonna work on trying to get that other position filled. And
Yeah,
that's gonna be a game changer when that happens.
Right.
And that would be ideal, like that happens,
Right.
and that's,
And,
What do we have budgeted now? We already have a budget for it. Obviously, we turned the budget in. So do you know what we have budgeted for that, for those two guys?
yeah, I mean.
Or are we gonna change that?
We wouldn't change it. What
Okay.
we would do is we would pull down on have to work with Margret and see what works easier for her. But you have money set aside in one of the permissive funds that would basically cover the 5 months for the part-time. And then in the general budget, there was money set aside for the other full-time maintenance worker. So you just have to be strategic on where the money is coming from what account as the season progresses. So that way, you don't end up overdrawing one and the other's under, and so you just have to be careful how it works out. Again, the best case scenario is we hire another full-time person, and then it eliminates a lot of that kind of weirdness. I make a motion, April 1st is what we like. I make a motion that effective April 1st, Chip can hire the part-time workers he needs to be able to maintain and cut grass, that each worker not exceed a total of 32 hours a week.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Dan Pillow. Any discussion?
That is limited to 2 people, yes?
2 people. Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's about the amount of money. As long as it doesn't exceed the budget, I don't care if he has 5 people doing it and 5 hours a week. 5 hours a week, you know what I mean? It's really up to
It's
Chip.
just the way you word, but the way you worded it was
That's fine.
32 hours each person.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that,
make
yes,
sure
the motion was based on
people.
all right, so just limit it to 64 hours total time.
Yes.
Okay.
Any more discussion?
did you guys already vote?
Not yet.
Working
Oh, I'm
on
sorry. Go ahead.
Did that get seconded?
You take the vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Debbie Stafford,
Yeah.
Dan Dalton,
Yeah,
Ann Pillow, Steve Dalton,
Yeah.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
And then we talked about the playground, so that's gonna start on the 23rd. And the post office, I just want to do a little quick discussion on that. Where the wall is over there at the post office, where the steps are at, that is our property. And it has been coming unglued for a little while now, and we're gonna have to do something with it. We'll have to peel it out of there, the blacktop, and maybe dig down a little bit, and then put some same stuff that's maybe over at the park there for now, until the blacktop plant's open, or we don't blacktop it, one or the other. I mean, it's your call on that.
How was
one,
it
but
blacktopped originally?
Please?
Because there used to be a trailer that sat there. Was it blacktop when that trailer was there?
I don't know if there was ever a trailer there, was it?
That's where I used to go. That's when I was in Boise.
That wasn't a trailer, that was a small
It was a
building.
small- Yeah, it was a church.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm going way
I
back.
didn't say, I don't remember that.
Okay, I'm going way back. I'm sorry.
It was small, it looked like probably like a trailer.
It did look like a trailer.
Yeah.
But like, did we blacktop that for a reason? Or were we just thinking cars
That's
going
all
around
blacktop,
there?
right? It's blacktop, but it's real soft in there, and it's
We kept some.
pumping up, and it's
Yeah.
just not a good situation
I
going
kept
on
salt
over
there
there.
at one time.
Maybe that's why it won't stick, it got salt. It was
That's what I
salt, it
heard,
was
there
a
was
salt
a salt
bin.
shed there. I heard that, but I never heard of a trailer, but, we need to dig it out and just kind of smooth it out with gravel. But I'll need a couple truckloads of gravel, maybe, you know, to put in there, smooth it out. If we don't blacktop it, we can tamp it down tight. I don't know if you guys are okay with that.
Could we do like I probably don't want to do a flower bed there or something like that, or a grass patch.
People pull in there for the post office.
Well, that's why I was asking about with the
Yeah.
blacktop and stuff, because I feel like people turn around there all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's,
Sometimes people have to park there now that the new bar's open because there's nowhere to park
Right.
sometimes.
that too. I mean, we can gravel it for now and just make sure it's smooth gravel, like what's over in the park, and it'll tighten up with that 304, but we may want to think about getting some blacktop on it someday.
Do you know what that would cost for?
I gotta go measure it. I just want to let you guys discuss it tonight about, let you guys aware of it, that's going on over there.
Speaking of the post office, have we heard any more about the ramp? I know that's the post office issue, but
I haven't heard anything
has
about that.
anybody been notified about that?
No,
The handicap ramp or?
just kind of got dropped by them.
Yeah.
Because they were gonna do it. We did give them permission, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We gave them permission to build the ramp.
they just haven't done it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we could
So
reach
what's
out
the deal with
nationally.
what are we doing over here? We just gonna drop
Fixing
that
the
or
parking
what?
lot.
I'd like to make a motion that Chip research and come, I mean, do I have to make a motion and ask him to research it and come back with some price
No.
quotes?
Well, what I would like to do though, if it's okay with you guys, if I can peel that bad blacktop out of there and smooth it out a little bit, so it's not a problem. Do away with part of the problem, we're just not gonna blacktop it yet.
And that's like a no cost, what you're talking about.
The gravel will
That's it.
cost, I think it's $15 or whatever, 18 a ton,
Yeah. you can get
times
one truck
7,
for
6
that
tons, probably 12 tons, whatever that comes out.
Could you do it for $100?
What's 17 times 7?
$119.
What?
$119.
Can you do it for 150?
Yeah, I think so.
I make a motion that Chip can repair the blacktop area.
It won't be blacktop, it'll be gravel.
Gravel.
I meant
With
repair
gravel.
with gravel
Okay.
for $150.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Dan Dalton. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yeah.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yeah.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
That's all I have.
We'll go to Interim Chief Don McWhorter.
The new officers are all out of their field training portion. They're starting to pick up shifts. So the empty shifts should start dissipating. We've got another potential going tomorrow for a CVSA. I got another application today and another one's coming back tomorrow for open positions.
What's the CVSA?
The Certified Voice Stress Analysis.
Oh, okay.
So he's going tomorrow, and after that, we'll move forward depending on what the results are of that. And then I had another application come in today and turn it in, and another guy picked one up and said he will have it back tomorrow. So we are getting applicants. There are potentially 2 more that are going to be applying. They contacted me, they just got to find time for their full-time job through today to get here and get the application. Unfortunately, I do have some stuff that was left over from when Chief LaCourse was here that wasn't taken care of. In front of you guys, you've got an estimate reference the in-car camera. They got back with us back in, on Valentine's Day, referenced that. They figured out what was wrong with it. It is repairable, but the cost to repair the unit is $1,083.
And then a new unit, one of those is like 5,000, right?
Right, yeah, $5,000 to replace it. If we were to try to find another unit, I could probably find other in-car video systems for less than that, but if you're gonna do that, then you're looking at still around $5,000 because you're gonna have to replace it in both cars versus one.
And our deductible's $1,000 anyway, so it's not worth even attempting to see if we can do anything.
I make a motion, we purchase the camera that we need.
Second.
Motion by Dan Pillow, second by Pam Jackson. Any discussion?
That is to repair, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say
this is to
repair.
repair.
Is it vehicle number
Okay.
two? Which vehicle is it? Is it number 2?
That would be for car 1802, Margaret, yes.
Number 2?
Yes.
Any further discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yeah,
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
The other quotes you have in front of you from Safe Fleet, which is the same company as the car camera, is for 2 new holders for our remote mics. This is the only one we have left, and I'm having to keep it together with a rubber band.
make a motion to approve the genuine leather holsters for $65.
Seconded.
Sorry, chief, it's $65. You need it, we're good.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Lisa Stafford. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Motion to adjourn.
He's not
Uh,
finished.
Oh, I
He's not finished, and we still got to.
The last thing that I
Don't
have
go
is,
to the audience yet either.
the last thing that I have that, with us hiring the new officers, and we're looking at hiring more, I am out of range ammunition for these guys to qualify with.
Great.
That's a little bit of a sore subject.
That's some bullets now. Right? So anything for automatic machine guns, qualifying ammunition, I can get that for right at $500, and that can actually come out of the drug fund instead of coming out of the general fund.
Well, you better let me see what you got in there, because you've been buying uniforms and our vest. How many vests have we bought? Do we have to get more vests for the new guys?
As you guys come in, yes, we will have to buy
So,
vests.
I mean, it might be better to take it out of the general fund for
Okay.
the police
I
department.
know the line
and not
items there in
that.
the general fund.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a
that's-
$500 line item for ammunition and
Okay.
training.
Yeah.
But that will be coming from Keesler's law enforcement
That's
supply out of
supposed to be
Indiana.
like
And you will have a village PO.
For the
That's
four.
great.
I will get the Margret for his order.
That's amazing.
To make a motion that the chief is allowed to buy ammunition that
Legal
is,
ammunition.
Yes, legal ammunition.
ammunition that meets the expectations of council and the rules and guidelines that are set forth in our books.
I'll second it.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Pam Jackson. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yeah,
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
I'm done.
did we find any range
Anybody from
officer?
the audience have anything they'd like to bring to council? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Hold on, do we need to talk about,
Shut up. How about the coach?
do we need to talk about the,
Virus stuff.
yeah, the virus stuff? Everything we need to address.
Now you two.
Yeah.
Well, I did go to him. He
Like
said he had a
Father
report,
Yeah.
that it was done. Is there
Well, I
anything else
just,
that- I didn't know if you wanted.
obviously, the biggest thing is, and we've been working very closely with the PD. Actually, I think we made sure they had some N95 masks in case they have people that are spitting on them or those kind of things. The biggest thing for everybody, and if you see people walking around with a mask on, that's not helping them. Honestly, it's the social distancing. The mask is actually designed for somebody sneezing directly in your face, those kind of things, procedures. So, a little bit of that. The biggest thing is some of the social distancing, sanitizing, like at the building, especially the handles, doorknobs, light switches, the things that are used by everybody on a continual basis.
Phones, coffee.
Your phones, your remotes, those kind of things. you don't have to completely sanitize the walls. I've seen people going in and spraying walls and all that. It's not to that point yet. And the other thing is we are, as a group, with the police, the fire, we're limiting the people that respond to incidents. So you may see, even when we respond, you'll still see the same amount of people, but you may only see one paramedic walk into the building, make an assessment whether the rest of the crew is safe enough to come in or will be exposed. If it is an exposure issue, then we'll gown up the rest of the folks. What the PD's been very good about doing is showing up on the scene, but not coming in. So in case we need them, all we gotta do is yell out the door, kind of thing, versus waiting for them to come in. But we are kind of limited on supplies, as everybody is. But we're making an effort to make sure that whatever we have, we're making sure the law enforcement has. The other day, did they give you some masks in case you have to put a prisoner?
Yep.
Okay, so one of the other things is surgical masks will help prevent that. So if you become one of our patients and we put a mask on you, that's just to help you and to help us, not the, but we also gave some to law enforcement in case they have to put somebody in the back of a cruiser, that they can keep them from spitting on them, breathing on them, and those kind of things. So the biggest thing really is maintain your normal, washing your hands, those kind of things, you know, and progress from there. The other thing is to caution folks, make sure you're using soap and water, because just the sanitizer does not work.
Really?
100%. You gotta use both of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so everybody thinks that the sanitizer is the best thing and all, but not 100%. You gotta kind of use both, so,
Still gotta wash your hands.
yeah. So I would just kind of, you know,
Twice.
and if you start to have any of the symptoms, you know, follow up with the docs. You know, the biggest one's the fever, you know, and a lot of times, quite honestly, the docs are gonna say, let it run it. Most of the time, it's gonna let it run its course. If you're in decent shape, most of it's affecting. But the ones that are dying are ones that have respiratory ailments prior to. So, and part of some of the information we already got is there's probably been people that have had the corona, done passed it over, and has moved on, but, you know.
So basically, some people have already had this and
Oh,
gone
yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
Not even.
They actually say a lot of kids that you thought had the flu or a bad cold have probably had it and gone, because the kids are pretty resistant to it.
Right.
The reason we're closing schools is they're the ones passing it on to everybody. They're not necessarily getting it, but they're passing it on, so, you know.
Chief had a question about points of dispensing. In the event that this thing should really, they should have to medicate people, and you know what points of dispensing are. It's the thing that we have in Hamilton County.
Yes.
Where they can get medicines and everything out to certain locations, the high school being one of those. Has there been any discussion? I tried to call somebody to see if, in fact, they were just talking about it. They talked about it in Hamilton County Public Health.
The health department has been sending out some emails to me and to the school district. One of the things that I've asked them right now is, the soonest they believe that there'll be a medication available is March of 2021.
Yeah.
Wow. They're just starting, and I was just reading one of the emails I get so many. There's 2 labs that think they have something, but by the time it goes through, even in an expedited FDA approval, it'll be the fall. So
They started.
it'll probably end up being your next flu vaccine.
They started the phase 1 testing today,
Yeah.
but those people will be tested for a year. There'll be 3 levels.
Clinical trials, they call it.
Clinical trials, yeah. They said it'll probably finish in about a year.
Wow.
It takes time for
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna quarantine myself for a year, if you guys don't mind, out the phone.
We'll just set a computer there.
We can see.
Well, like I said, the best thing that is really just kind of doing some social distancing. If you know people that are sick, avoid them,
Yeah.
you know, and then just, you know, one of the other things they say is make sure you're getting good sleep.
Wow.
Good what?
Sleep.
Bob don't know that word, do you, Bob?
Me either. But that is one of the,
Yeah.
they say be well rested.
If you're not, your
And
immune
keep your
system.
hygiene up, and those are some of the best things we can do.
Trouble.
It's always worked for me.
And as information progresses, or we find things out, we're trying to keep Don and the officers informed, so, and again, working as a partnership, making sure that they have some equipment available to them in the case that we would need them to help us inside, or they encounter someone that they suspect that they have some protection. The other thing is also, and I tell people this, that don't be freaked out because what the CDC is telling us is if we suspect and we run through our criteria and suspect the person has the virus, we're actually supposed to put on suits or gowns, goggles, and all that. It'll look like a hazmat incident. Other than the fact we won't be wearing SCBAs, we'll be wearing regular masks and that. So if you see that, don't get overly freaked out. The biggest part of that is just to protect that person from sneezing, breathing, vomiting on us. So that's just all I got. Unless anybody has other questions. Like I said, I'm a phone call away if I can help you, but most of the time I'm just regurgitating what I'm getting from Ohio Health, Hamilton County Health, CDC, you know. But
Now, should we wipe the doorknobs down? How frequently? Just periodically?
I would, honestly, what we're doing at the firehouse is daily. On a daily basis.
I mean, like, should we go in here in the morning, wipe everything down, you know, the doorknobs, the switches and everything, then we're gone for the rest of the day? I mean,
If nobody else is in here, then I wouldn't necessarily worry about it.
okay.
If the building's being, and again, the firehouse, because we're in there 24/7, we're doing it in the morning and we do it in the evening.
Right.
Okay.
You know, and honestly, it's as simple as taking your Clorox wipes and just wiping the handles,
The bleach water be all right?
yep, 10% bleach
Okay.
solution. So, in a regular spray bottle, it's about that much bleach.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering. We got something mixed up.
Well,
You don't wipe it
that's
off,
why I
you have
wanted
to leave
everything.
Yeah, just kind of spray it and leave
Just
it.
give it a
Leave it
squirt.
saturated, yeah,
Yep.
leave it saturated. Because if it doesn't saturate for 4 minutes, then it's not gonna kill anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's it. If you're gonna use the spray, that's the easiest part, is just spritz it. But what I always tell everybody, especially if it's around material, make sure you remember it is bleach.
Right.
It's usually pretty diluted, but it is bleach, so be careful
Correct.
with some of that stuff. But yeah, that's as simple as you need to do, is just kind of spray those, or like I said, if you're gonna use the Clorox wipes, just wipe it and leave it wet. You know, we tend to wipe and then dry, leave it wet.
Right.
Get information.
And that's all I got.
Mr. Dalton?
I'm not saying it. Y'all fix me.
Motion we adjourn. Oh, I can't do that, can I?